Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you a special Survivor Series recap here on Sportskeeda. Survivor Series was a night to remember with both brands going head to head in competition for brand supremacy to find out who is the best of the best. Superstars from Raw and SmackDown collide in a chaotic battle royale to kick off Survivor Series. Elias, Chad Gable, The Miz, and Dominic found themselves being the final four, but the charismatic Enigma was dumped by Gable, who showcased a dizzying array of suplexes. Dominic appeared to eliminate The Miz, and after a back and forth, he got a better of Gable to seemingly claim the biggest victory of his young career. But with referees ruling that The Miz was never eliminated, the A-lister re-emerged, eliminating Dominic from behind for the win. On a 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, Team Raw came together for a dominant victory, sweeping Team SmackDown in the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series elimination match. The Blue brand controlled the early action until Seth Rollins, expressionless and the only member on his team not wearing a SmackDown shirt, offered himself on his knees for a Sheamus bro kick and the bout's first elimination. The SmackDown Savior's only explanation before his sacrifice was for the greater of good. The bizarre act of martyrdom set the remaining members of Team Blue into disarray, and while attempting to regroup, they were demolished by Braun Strowman Express on the outside. But Team SmackDown seemed to find a spark behind Kevin Owens' stunner parade as KO put down Sheamus, Keith Lee, and Riddle before being eliminated after AJ Styles blasted him with a phenomenal forearm. Raw's edge improved 5-2 as Riddle put away King Corbin with a floating bro, leaving only Jey Uso and Otis for Team SmackDown. Otis caught fire in a hurry, cleaning house of Team Raw before standing toe-to-toe with Strowman. While the blue-collar strong superstar landed the Caterpillar, Strowman picked him up from the top rope and planted him with a gargantuan running power slam for the elimination. With nothing to lose, Uso fought valiantly, dropping his adversaries with a series of super kicks and taking down almost all of Team Raw with a plancha. But Jey's rally fell short. The limitless superstar entered the match via a blind tag, caught Uso off the top rope, and planted him with a spirit bomb to send Team Raw to victory. In the tag team match, New Day versus the Street Profits turned into a gutsy performance at Survivor Series, earning one of the biggest wins of their career by toppling the New Day in a battle of tag team champions. The New Day began a clinic in tag team strategy, isolating Ford in the corner and pummeling him between rapid tags. Kingston added insult to injury, grabbing Ford's signature solo cup and punting it into the oblivion. But Ford found an opening after planting Kingston with a huge DDT, allowing him to tag Dawkins, who lit the ring on fire with explosive offense, topped off with a unique spinning underhook neckbreaker to Woods. The New Day regained control moments later, though much to Kingston's chagrin, the midnight hour wasn't enough to keep Ford down for the 3 count. Ford borrowed a page from his opponent's book, hitting Woods with what appeared to be Trouble in Paradise, and moments later, the Profits connected an electric chair drop blockbuster combo to earn the victory. The dueling duo showed nothing but respect for each other afterwards, embracing with hugs all around. US Champion Bobby Lashley versus Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Bobby Lashley crushed Sami Zayn's hope of an upset at Survivor Series, prevailing over the IC champ in impressive fashion. With Zayn perhaps more preoccupied with the presence at the Hurt Business at ringside than he was on his opponent, the Almighty capitalized to unleash a powerful barrage of offense. The Great Liberator once again resorted to his bag of tricks, conjuring up a bout of supposed vertigo to try to catch Lashley off guard with a roll-up to no avail. The hijinks only seemed to draw with the ire of the United States Champion, who dialed up the punishment on the outside of the ring until Zayn sent in face first into the ring post. The Hurt Business played a pivotal role though, with Shelton Benjamin re-securing a turnbuckle that Zayn removed in a likely bid at underhanded offense. Soon finding himself splattered by a massive one-arm slam, Zayn tried to flee before tripping over MVP's foot, With MVP depositing Zayn back into the ring, Lashley applied the Hurt Lock to force Zayn to tap out. Women's Champion versus Champion match, Asuka on Raw and Sasha Banks on SmackDown. Banks and Asuka battled through the summer exchanging the Raw Women's Championship, but post-Bayley, Banks offered a significantly different angle. Banks controlled the action early, and after a scramble, Banks briefly locked in the Banks statement and Asuka countered nearly into an Asuka lock, but neither woman was able to fully take advantage. A backstabber from Banks forced Asuka to roll onto the outside to regroup, and Banks let Asuka know that she didn't appreciate the tactic with a tirade. Asuka soon returned the favor and mocked Banks by dancing around the ring after Banks herself tumbled to the outside. Asuka started laying in strikes to break down Banks, but Banks quickly returned fire. Asuka blocked several attempts at Banks' statement, but Banks pivoted and an arm lock into the abdominal stretch to do damage from a different angle. Banks and Asuka battled on the ring on the apron, with Banks ultimately eating a kick and a hip attack as she lost the exchange. A baseball slide under the bottom rope shifted things again, but the momentum for Banks was short-lived as a Meteora attempt by Banks off the barricade flew right into the codebreaker by Asuka. The momentum swung back and forth with each brutal, forceful move. Banks turned to the tide after a missed hip attack with a backstabber and double knees into the corner. A Banks statement attempt was finally locked back in, but Asuka once again fought out. Another codebreaker by Asuka as Banks was draped over the middle rope only led to a 2 count. Both women traded roll-up pins attempts for the better part of the minute, but after Banks ate a kick, she just found enough leverage to pin Asuka. The 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. After suffering the indignity of an endless string of Samoan drops from Nia Jax through the announcer's table for months on Raw, Lana got the last laugh as the sole survivor for the Women's Survivor Series elimination match. After everyone had their chance to shine for a moment, even Lana, who was berated for trying to tag in and was exiled to the ring steps for the remainder of the match, Peyton Royce suplexed Bayley from the turnbuckle onto the most of the other competitors. Royce then shocked the balance of things by hitting Deja Vu on Bayley, eliminating SmackDown team's captain first. After a scramble, Natalya locked in a sharpshooter and forced Royce to tap out. Shayna Baszler distracted Natalya and Natalya tried to put on a sharpshooter on her. Lacey Evans hit a women's right in the process and pinned Natalya. Baszler locked up Ruby Riott onto a Karafuda clutch, but her momentum trapped Baszler in a pinfall. A Nia Jax distraction kept that from happening, but Riott was rendered unconscious, making her an easy pinfall victim for Baszler. Liv Morgan bounced Evans' head off on the mat and then hit a crucifix bomb into the leverage pin, eliminating Evans. Despite a DDT, Morgan got caught by Jax and got Samoan drop and subsequently pinned. Baszler locked in Bianca Belair in a Karafuda clutch for an extended period of time, but when Belair got to the ropes, Baszler refused to let go of the hold, forcing the ref to disqualify her. Jax and Belair battled on the outside, and despite successfully dumping Jax over the barricade, Belair couldn't answer the referee's 10 count. Then despite all odds, that left Lana as the sole survivor. Champion versus champion, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. McIntyre and Reigns went strength for strength early until McIntyre was able to drop Reigns with a big shoulder tackle, forcing Reigns to roll out of the ring and gather his composure. Things quickly broke down into a brawl with both men landing big strikes until Reigns was able to get the upper hand and drive McIntyre from the ring. Reigns maintained a methodical pace, grinding on McIntyre with strikes and chin locks to keep McIntyre from getting into his usual explosive rhythm. McIntyre made his initial comeback by tossing Reigns across the length of the cage with a belly-to-belly suplex and setting up for a future shot DDT, only to end up taking the Samoan drop from Reigns. McIntyre ducked a Superman punch and hit a big spine buster for a 2 count. Reigns ate a headbutt from McIntyre and fired back with a big kick to face. As the action went back and forth, McIntyre managed to hit the future shot and get another 2 count. Reigns came back moments later with a Superman punch, but McIntyre didn't go down to the strike and sent Reigns flying with another belly-to-belly suplex. Reigns almost hit a spear, but McIntyre rolled through and locked in a Kimura lock for a near submission before Reigns grabbed the bottom rope. As the action spilled outside, Reigns hit 2 Samoan drops on the announce table, the second sending McIntyre through the table. He followed up by driving McIntyre through the barricade with a spear. That would only get a 2 count, as would the following spear counter to the Claymore shortly after. Reigns ran in for another spear, but McIntyre countered with a Claymore. Reigns, however, collided with the referee, sending him spilling from the ring. Jey Uso ran in and was taken out by McIntyre, and Reigns hit the WWE Champion with a low blow. Uso also hit a super kick before Reigns locked in the guillotine choke. McIntyre tried to stand up in the end, but the choke ended up going out in the hold, giving Reigns the victory. Undertaker says goodbye for the final time. The Phenom was honored tonight for his 30 remarkable years in the WWE. Members of BSK, Hall of Famers, and even the chairman Vince McMahon gave an homage to the dead man. The Undertaker said a few words about his run, but said it was time for him to rest in peace. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app from the App Store for the most up-to-date news in the world of wrestling.